The next postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. Tonight at the Nets, Karl-Anthony Towns. Great game with 37 points and 12 rebounds. Knicks played good defense throughout. 6 steals as a team. Jalen Brunson added 27 points. Knicks get their second road win of the year. Beat the Nets tonight 113-100. Great to have you with us from our Delta Embassy Studios. Bill Pidto along with Alan Hahn. Wally Szczerbiak is going to join us here in a couple of moments. We talked in the pregame about defense and how the Knicks have struggled of late on defense. Tonight, that's the third lowest point total they've held the opposition to. Only 100 points for the Nets. The defense was a whole lot better tonight.
Yeah, the Nets, for some reason, decided to make it a perimeter game, which they're not good at, so that was a big problem. The Knicks did really force that and did a good job with defending the paint, but the bottom line of this game was the Knicks had 2 All-NBA players on the court, and the Nets didn't. I mean, it's as simple as talent. Karl-Anthony Towns was indomitable from the second and third quarters, really turned the game in the third quarter. Jalen Brunson also had a huge game. Talent does win out, and that's what it certainly happened tonight.
All right, Wally Szczerbiak was on the radio call on ESPN New York. Wally, interesting post by your radio partner Tyler Murray about something covering your head. What do you have?
Oh, we have Wally Kenobi.
Yes, what's going on there, Wally?
Well, it was a little drafty up there in the radio booth because it's right where the vestibule opens up to the main concourse. So I was just trying to stay warm. That first half was a little grumpy, to say the least. Knicks weren't really kicking it into gear. Wasn't really a rhythm to the game very much. So I was just trying to stay heated up. Second half, the Knicks kicked it into gear. They played good basketball, found a rhythm. Karl-Anthony Towns unstoppable, like you said, Alan. I think he just really did a good job of dominating this basketball game. The Knicks took their time on offense to get the ball to the right guy who had the matchup advantage. And then once he started dominating down low, getting to the free throw line and driving to the basket, then those threes started to fall. He caught him in rhythm. That was a great performance for a guy who's been struggling a little bit shooting the ball uncharacteristically for him. And he was just dominant tonight with the big 37 points.
I absolutely love the fact, though, that what Towns did in this game was because he even recognized, he said it to Mike and Clyde, is that I have not been shooting a three well. So I thought, let me go to the basket. And the Nets, really, when you consider how they defended, the paint was wide open. So Wally, what he was doing was the proverbial give the defense, take what the defense is giving you, and rather than forcing it or trying to get himself in rhythm from three, he just kept driving to the basket, He didn't take his first three until the third quarter. So it does show you that he had a lot more patience in this game maybe than we've seen in the last couple of games when he struggled, right?
Yeah, and there were times where he had open threes and he turned them down because he knew that he could score whenever he wanted in the paint. And honestly, the Brooklyn Net defenders, they were probably like, I'd rather he take a quick three in the shot clock than pound us down low, use his size, use his strength, and get whatever he wants. I mean, 14 for 20 and is an outstanding percentage shooting the basketball. It's more what we're used to Karl-Anthony Towns doing. And with Mike Brown wanting to get 43s up, at times it's okay, but at times you're letting the defense off the hook a little bit when you're not really taking advantage of an all-NBA, all-star type player that has a huge matchup advantage as far as size and strength. So Karl-Anthony Towns did a great job of reading the defense, and then when those threes came, the opportunities, he didn't turn them down, and he knocked them down 3 for 4.
Yeah, to your point, Wally, Knicks took 35 threes. That's under their average. More on Karl-Anthony Towns. Let's show everybody some of his highlights. Thrilling moment brought to you by FanDuel Casino. Get your thrill on. And it was interesting, Alan, because as you just talked about with Wally, he didn't take a three till he had things going on the inside and didn't take his first three of the second half.
Yeah, and when you think about it again, look who he's going up against. I mean, we talked about the size advantage we thought the Nets might have because the Knicks played a small lineup. What we didn't realize, though, is the size advantage was for Karl-Anthony Towns. Because between, Claxton and Clowney, they really don't have that kind of size where it's not just height and length, but also physicality to deal with Karl-Anthony Towns. And you just saw him, by this point, when he's just catch and shoot threes, now he's in rhythm. And the rhythm came from the fact that what he was doing was driving to the basket and getting layups, seeing the ball go in the basket, like Wally always says. And then we also look at the rebounding, which he has done all year and actually his entire Knicks career.
14th double-double this year, second most in the league. And Wally has 37 points. He's had a 39-point game, 37 points, second most he's scored in a game this season.
Yeah, you knew he was going to explode. It was only a matter of time. He had that big performance at home against the Miami Heat. He likes to be in the tri-state New York area, get in the city boroughs, and, it was just quite a performance. I just love seeing him use his mind. I mean, he's a smart basketball player, and smart basketball players, they know when they have advantages. They know what they need to do. They don't need other people telling them what to do. And he just went into his bag tonight and reminded everyone of his greatness. And it's a win the Knicks really needed, and it's technically a road win, and they haven't had that many of them this year. So that was a good way to get back in the win column.
And if I said Jalen Brunson scored 27, you'd like, Bill, what? Quiet 27, but 27 nonetheless.
Yeah, for him they were, but he did have pockets of the game where he knew he had to get on a little scoring roll, and he did that, especially early on. As Wally said, it wasn't a pretty first half. As he said, it was a drafty first half, but Brunson got hot when it mattered most. And you see the 10 of 19 and the 4 of 9 from 3. Now, the Knicks, again, didn't have a great three-point shooting night as a team. But Jalen Brunson, as we mentioned, over the last, now this is a 7-game stretch. He's played in 5 of those games, and he was averaging coming in over at 31 points. So he'll probably dip a little bit, but 31 points, but he was shooting 50-40 from the field. And so he continues the good shooting, obviously a little Euro step there, and he was demonstrating that. But that's what you get from Jalen Brunson. But even also the recognition of, okay, Towns has got this thing going. Let him cook for a while. And Brunson, when he scored, was just in those moments in the system, not necessarily him taking the ball and creating for himself.
Well, no, I agree. Jalen was outstanding.
Go ahead.
No, he was great. And, Jalen reads the defense. He reads the game. And a true point guard, which he's been playing like all season long, a little bit more off the ball. I like the combination with him and Deuce, and also Clarkson getting some minutes with the starters at the end of that fourth quarter. I think that was a nice little wrinkle, because you're going to need guys that can step up and complement that starting unit and play with the Villanova 3 and Karl Anthony Towns. And Mike Brown is looking for different combinations, and all those combinations worked, especially in the second half.
Clarkson with 12 points. No Mitchell Robinson under the weather. And, of course, OG Anunoby is out, and so too is Landry Shamet. Wally, we're going to Charlotte tomorrow. Planes, you going to save me a seat or what?
Of course I'm going to save you a seat. You're not sitting on my lap, Bill. You weigh too much.
Just keep him away from the food.
He said, well, you make sure you stay warm on the plane tomorrow. All right, Wally?
That's right.
Oh, I will. I can't wait.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow. And, as always, we appreciate you joining us here. Mike Brown's post-game comments coming up. Is Knicks victorious? The Knicks now beating the Nets 12 times in a row. With post-game comments from the coach coming up.
The Knicks post-game show is presented by Audi. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer today.
Knicks led the Nets by 3 at the half and ended up winning the game by 13. Post-game comments from Mike Brown, as always, presented by Chase.
One of the things we keep talking to our guys about is we want to make sure that we're physical defensively and we do it without fouling. And in the first half, we probably fouled too much, obviously, with 17 free throw attempts. We did a better job in the second half. I think they had 11 in the second half. So we got to keep trying to lead with our chest when we're playing defense and show our hands. Another thing that Brooklyn does very well, they hit the offensive glass, and I thought in the first half we gave up a few too many, but the free throws and the offensive rebounding is what kept them in the game in that first half. And we gave up a few too many offensive rebounds. We cleaned that up in the second half. I think giving up 5 for the second half. But our guys did a good job. Other than that, defensively, we gave up 2 fast break points in the fourth quarter. So we got to keep working on our transition defense. And then we were active defensively. We had 22 deflections, and so anytime we can play a game like that. Especially giving up 28 paint points, that's a pretty good defensive game. I thought our contests were good, too, along the perimeter. Did a great job sharing the basketball and taking care of the ball. 28 assists on 45 or so buckets, and then 8 turnovers for the game. Both Josh and Cat were monsters on the glass. They each had 12 boards on the glass, and every rebound was big for us. Josh was the defensive player of the game. So good win for us on the road, and a lot of contributions up and down the lineup.
With that, Josh felt like after the first couple stints or so, felt like Josh really kind of allowed the team to get some juice with how aggressive he was guarding defensively. As you mentioned, the deflections. He talked last game about the issues with the team defensively is a mindset. I guess just for a guy to take accountability and not just talk about it but be about it, how important is that for this group?
It's extremely important, and really, it's what leadership is. He's not afraid to say what's on his mind, especially when he's talking about telling the truth. So having a guy like that as a leader, having a guy like Jalen, we got a couple of veteran guys that are about the right stuff, and that was all that was taking accountability, knowing that we could play better on that end of the floor, but we have to go do it. And we did a pretty good job of it tonight, except for, like I said, send him to the free throw line.
What do you think of Cat's aggressiveness and his efficiency doing what he did today?
He was really good. Again, we tried to move him around quite a bit, and tried to have him at the elbow, tried to have him in the post, tried to put him in the pick and roll game. He just, you could see his comfort level is starting to get there. But I will say that his teammates too understand what one of our key staples is, which is the spacing. And if our spacing is right, especially after all the movement that we try to incorporate within what we do in the front court, then he's going to have room to drive. And if he has room to drive, it's going to be tough for his defender because he can shoot the ball if you don't close out close enough to him. So a great game by Cat, picking his spots to drive it, to shoot it, to spray it. He had a couple of great sprays as well. But also, the rest of our guys doing a fantastic job of making sure the floor was spaced correctly.
On that note, with Cat, do you like when he's not settling for the three ball, when he's being aggressive, trying to get to the rack like he did today?
Yeah, I just like that he mixed it up. And also, his threes. I thought his threes were from the right spots at the right time too, and his aggressiveness opened it all up.
You mentioned fouls in the first half. What do you think contributed to the slow start in the first quarter?
Well, they're an NBA team, and Jordi Fernandez, he doesn't get enough credit. He's done a heck of a job with that team while they're going through whatever process they're going through, and we just got a little handsy, a little too physical, where we were bumping guys on their shots, and we were sending them to the free throw line. I thought we did a better job cleaning that up as the game went along, though.
You saw the Nets a couple of weeks ago. Do you see any difference in how they're playing now?
Yeah, I told Jordy, Jordy's in a tough spot, but the reality of it is, he's a head coach in the NBA, and it's the Brooklyn Nets, and while they're going through this process, just continue doing what he's doing. You could watch like the last couple of games, because we watched games prior to our game. I mean, they're playing hard. They're trying to move the ball and move bodies, and they've won some pretty good games. They beat Boston at Boston, had a chance to beat Toronto on the road. Toronto's playing fabulous. So you could see the marked improvement that they had since we last played them. And, again, I attribute it obviously to their players locking in and doing whatever the coaching staff is probably telling them. But Jordy, too, is a really good young coach.
Last one. Mike, back to Cat really quick. They were guarding him primarily with their centers, and when teams do that, he tends to have pretty big performances. What's it been like trying to find the balance of how to get him to have that same aggressiveness and variety when teams are putting wings on him or smaller guards as opposed to centers?
Yeah, again, it's still pretty early, and I've said this a lot, that he's got the hardest job on the team in terms of trying to understand how to play all five positions, and it doesn't matter if there's a 4 on him or 5. I think as time goes on, his comfort level will start to show, and tonight was just evident of it. Thank you, guys.
So, Alan, with no Mitchell Robinson, Cat played the 5 tonight, and a lot of times it's advantageous for him to be at the 5 to go up against the opposing team's 5 as opposed to an opposing team wing.
Yeah, that, and also the fact that when you have 4 of the players out there that can spread the floor, the paint's wide open. I mean, the Nets really did not have any rim protection whatsoever, so when he was driving early in the game, it's one man to beat, going right to the rack. That nobody was sliding in, nobody was coming in to help, and so it's one-on-one, and Karl Anthony Towns is going to kill anybody in a one-on-one situation. So he took great advantage of that. Also, something else that Mike Brown talked about tonight, which we should point out, is without Mitchell Robinson, again, rebounding factor, what you needed somebody to step up. Josh Hart gave you 12 boards. Again, 6'4", playing the 4 spot, 12 rebounds. And he also gave you 7.7 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. So a couple of blocks as well for your 6'4" power forward who started this game. That's what it takes sometimes when you're missing players, and Josh Hart deserves some recognition tonight for the effort that he brings. They gave him the defensive player of the game, so he got the hard hat and the Timbs on his feet.
You know, as a team, the Knicks had 6 blocks. No Mitchell Robinson, they still had 6 blocks. They also recorded 6 steals. Mike Brown liked his team's aggressiveness on defense, and the stats illustrated that. Josh Hart, 7 points, 7 assists, 12 rebounds, and the Knicks' 13-point win. Here's Josh Hart now after the game.
Josh, seemed like the team was having a lot of fun out there. The defense was fueling the offense. What did you guys see out on the court?
Yeah, you know, we knew the last couple games just wasn't the kind of style that we wanted to play. On the ball, defensively on the ball, we had to be more physical, those kind of things. So I feel like we did that today, and obviously led to some easy baskets and just having fun.
The big man had it going tonight. What did you think of Cat's play?
Yeah, he was great, man. We need him to be aggressive. You know, find his spaces and areas to be aggressive. But, you know, I mean, that's what we need from him.
How important was it for you to set the tone defensively?
I wouldn't say it's important for all of us, honestly. I mean, just how we are, you know, how we've been, like I said, the last couple of games defensively. We needed to make sure we came in and, you know, with aggressive, you know, from the jump. And obviously now we got you know, another young team with Charlotte who has talent, who, you know, are playing pretty well so far. So we have to make sure we come in with physicality against them.
Kind of with that, Mike was talking about how after the game you said the defensive stuff, a lot of it's mentality, and you taking it upon yourself to start the game like that shows kind of the leadership that this group continues to need. I know he asked you like how important that is to set the tone, but also to talk about it and be about it at this point in the season too.
Yeah, I mean, we're all learning each other. Obviously, we got, you know, someone who could be a defensive player of the year, you know, out. So, and then obviously we got, you know, Mitch, who has the same capability. So you have those 2 guys out. You got to make sure you pick it up defensively, and you know, whether it's means sacrificing a little bit of energy offensively and making sure you're locked in defensively, you know, it's something that we all got to be willing to sacrifice and willing to do. And we do that, we all reap the rewards for it.
First start of the season after starting all 77 of the games you played last season, to feel like old times being out there?
A little bit. I had to switch the routine that I had pregame so far. So, man, I'm trying to find my good little pregame routine. But, you know, obviously getting out there to start was fun. So happy we got the win. And, you know, I'm not 0-1 starting.
Back now from the corner 3, presented by Michelob Ultra, Superior Light Beer. Because of the injuries, Josh Hart gets to start, played 37 minutes, kind of like old times.
Like old times, little pregame routine, probably with some Mike and Ike's, whatever it takes, right, to fuel up. But he did everything that they needed him to do. That's what he always does.
Need to mention Mikal Bridges, of course, formerly the Nets. 12 of his 16 tonight came in the decisive third quarter.
Yeah, 38-point third quarter for the Knicks. We talked a lot about Karl Anthony Towns in that quarter and how dominant he was. But Bridges was also sneaky dominant in that quarter as well. And he had a couple of really good defensive plays in this game. Just, again, without OG Anunoby, you start to appreciate what Bridges does more. Deflections, steals, blocks, all of it.
Very efficient, too.
Yep.
Only needed 11 shots, 6 of 11 to get his 16 points. Also had 4 assists. He's had a great year in the steal category. Had 2 more steals and also a block shot. So the Knicks win at 113-100. Josh Hart's first start of the year, as we talked about, made a nice contribution. We'll be back with more after this.
The Knicks postgame show is presented by Audi. Visit your Tri-State Audi dealer today.
All right, we continue now from the corner three. So the Knicks on this 5-game road trip are 2-2. It wraps up. It's an NBA Cup game Wednesday at Charlotte. Charlotte's been struggling. Get a win, you come back to home to take on Milwaukee, and you 3-2 road trip. Not awful.
And you heard Josh Hart talk about the team's mentality, understanding another young team, but a team that's obviously good, athletic. They can play fast. They are at home. The Knicks want to, as a veteran team, you go in there, it's a business trip, right? Like, you got this little break in a road trip. It rarely happens. Got to sleep in your own bed, right? Went to Brooklyn. You had a crowd that was kind of on your side. Charlotte, by the way, we all know that's MSG South. You're going to get a ton of Knicks fans down there for that game as well. You treat that with the right respect, and you try to get yourself a winning road trip in the 5 games that you played, despite everything that's gone on in this road trip with various injuries and players that have missed in the lineup. So you take seasons in blocks. Mike Brown talks about 5-game blocks. Here's one right here. Get another road win, if you can, on Wednesday to get a winning road trip and to get yourself back to some winning ways, because the schedule is going to get a lot harder after this trip.
Yeah, I mentioned Toronto's in town on Sunday.
And they're playing well.
And Toronto won again tonight.
Don't forget Friday as well.
Friday, Milwaukee.
Yeah.
It's the Knicks' final group game of the NBA Cup. Game summary here, Alan. The Nets took a whole bunch of threes, and the Knicks, who had been struggling in that end of play in terms of defending the other team's 14 out of 48. So whether it's bad shooting by the Nets or good defense by the Knicks, the three-point defense was a lot better than it has been in recent games.
Oh, no question. Again, this is not a good three-point shooting team to begin with, but we've seen bad three-point shooting teams shoot well against the Knicks, so it was good to see it not happen tonight. Although for Clowney, he had himself a hell of a game with 7 threes in this one, so had half of his team's threes.
Yeah, and the Knicks dominated points in the paint, 52-28. You see the rebounding category pretty close. Knicks almost with 30 assists, 28-19, winning that category as well. Back with more after this. Wrapping up the Tri-State Audi Knicks postgame show, Karl Anthony Towns and Josh Hart. Big games as the Knicks win in Brooklyn, 113-100. Cat tonight, 37 points. Really efficient, 14 out of 20. Next up, Knicks at Charlotte on Wednesday. Pregame at 6:30, game at 7. You can also stream our coverage on the Gotham Sports app. Want more than just a postgame show? Link your eligible TV subscription to stream Knicks games free, or subscribe today in the Gotham Sports app. Just go to gothamsports.tv to learn more.